We are this year coming together to exchange ideas and learn about the theme big data, applications, infrastructures, and implications.
Now that everything with an on-off switch creates data, the challenge becomes how do you make that data, put it into an analyzable form? Less than 1% of the world's data is analyzed. So we're creating all this data, only 1% is analyzed, and only about 20% is actually in a form that can be analyzed, which creates a massive opportunity.
The advent of big data can be transformational. I think it is both a problem and opportunity on the scale of the Industrial Revolution, the internet, and web.
We're starting with the assumption that big data is not universally defined. That means within our fields, we all consider very different kind of thresholds for what a big data set is. We're starting out with applications for a purpose. We're going to define how big data is changing our fields as the application, so what we're using those data for. And we're going to follow up after going to infrastructure. At the end, we're going to talk about the implication, and that's what do those changes mean.
And I'm specifically interested in how we can improve the communication between patients and providers to try to foster more patient-centered care.
We can look at what their care experience is and pinpoint specifically where we can intervene to try to improve the communication between patients and survivors about survivorship care.
There are three real end goals, and the first is to help physicians and healthcare professionals, what it means for their treatment regimens, what it means for how often they see patients, and what it may even mean for how they actually address patients. Number two is for the patients themselves, so that they can more adequately understand how different fluctuations in their physiologic parameters lead to health outcomes so that they can actually do more preventive things at home. And the third is for science in general, so that we can understand as a community how differences in different parameters may actually affect biology or may affect disease in general.
This track is on infrastructure. It's much more than just hardware or software or even computers. And we view infrastructure as anything needed to help to collect, to store, and to present large-scale information in a big data area, including organizational structures, including people.
We're going to build on all of the knowledge that we've talked about so far today and say, so what? What matters? And who does it matter to? What are the implications for the well-being of societies, for the well-being of individuals, for the well-being of organizations?
On the one hand, companies are finding tremendous value in learning more about their customers. And on the other hand, many privacy advocates are concerned that there's a big brother mentality.
People get nervous when they feel like they're losing control. And that could be because their privacy is not being protected, and who's getting it? Maybe it's the NSA, and we have, the Edward Snowden kind of situation. Or it could be companies that are collecting data on them, and they feel like, they're being monitored, and they feel like they're losing control.
Privacy is a legal issue as well as an ethical issue.
Legal issues surrounding the collection of big data from wearable devices have mostly to do with the privacy of that information. Employers more and more are using wearable devices to help reduce their insurance costs, to help employees improve their fitness, and to monitor employees' productivity. The question really is, what can employers do with the data that they collect? What can the companies that create that wearable technology do with the data that these employers collect? These issues haven't been regulated because the laws surrounding privacy in the United States haven't been updated since this technology became widespread.
I want to talk not so much about actual use of data to create new insights, but the creation of new capability at our institutions to do exactly that. How does the curriculum need to change? What does the integration of data-intensive analytical skills in a public affairs education look like?
Something that I think we're behind on in the big data space is security.
Security is one of the most scary and impactful challenges we have in big data. Because as we aggregate all of this information together, it creates more and more security risk. And as individuals have more of their information available digitally, it creates opportunities for criminal behavior and abuse. But if you think about the aggregate impact that it's had, it's revolutionized the way we work, live, and play. And I don't think the negative impact is anywhere near as great as the social and economic impact that's been delivered by the internet. And I think that's the same will be true for big data.